What's up, rushers? Michael here, back on the channel. Today we are diving into relics and ancient relics in Summoners War Rush. Relics are super important and mastering them can seriously boost your account's power. I'll show you how to use your resources efficiently and which relics to focus on. Plus, we'll break down what each stat means and how it helps you within the game. If you have any questions or just want to hang out, check out the Discord link in the description. But without further ado, let's get started. Let's start by explaining what are relics. So relics in Summoners War Rush can be obtained and enhanced to increase your monster's stats or gain beneficial effects. Relics can be obtained by completing all acquisition missions for the corresponding relic. Relic pieces are required for relic enhancement. But how do I get these resources? On the main menu, you want to click on Dungeon. Looking at the daily dungeon list, you want to click on Relic Piece Dungeon. This is where you will find all the resources necessary for the relics. The resources involved to upgrade your relics are called the relic pieces and also the relic scrolls, as displayed in the top right area here. Every day you want to make sure you are completing this dungeon and of course all the other dungeons to make sure you're getting maximum progress. I go into more detail on this with the daily routine for Summoners War Rush, so if you want to check that video out, I'll have a card that pops up. As you can see, there are 340 floors you have to complete within the relic dungeon, each floor offering a corresponding resource or reward. Scrolling all the way at the bottom, you will receive more relic pieces going up the ranks. And you will even get an additional amount of relic keys that you can even use to go even further within the relic dungeon. However, once you get to stage 141, things change. You will actually receive ancient relic pieces, and these are used to summon ancient relics. I'll get into this in more detail when we cover the ancient relics. This does remain constant for every 10 levels, as you will get these ancient relic pieces. Now that we know where to get the resources to upgrade the relics, let's talk about each individual relics in order. Starting with attack relics in Summoners War Rush boosts your total monster's attack power, which directly increases the damage they deal with their skills and basic attacks, for example. This is super useful because it helps you clear stages faster, win battles in the arena, and take down tough bosses like we mentioned with the relic dungeon. Basically, more attack means more damage, which is always a good thing for progressing in the game. Now on to defense. Defense relics in Rush boost your monster's defense stat, reducing the amount of damage they take from enemy attacks. This is very useful because it makes your monsters more durable, allowing them to survive in longer battles. This is especially helpful in tough PvE stages and even in PvP fights where staying alive is the key to winning. Moving on to HP. HP relics will boost your monster's health points, increasing their overall survivability. More HP means your monsters can withstand more damage before being defeated. This is super useful for tanking hits in battles, especially against powerful bosses like the Guild Dungeon boss, or in PvP situations where outlasting your opponents is crucial. Accuracy will increase the chances that your monsters will successfully land hits on your enemies. This is very useful in game modes such as the tower defense or even PvP, because in those modes you need high accuracy In the tower defense, you need a substantial amount of accuracy once you hit above chapter 16, and in PvP, if you're pushing very high, accuracy will help you defeat the tougher bots. So in my opinion, accuracy is an overlooked stat within the game. Invasion relics in Summoners War Rush will increase the chance that your monsters will dodge or evade incoming attacks. This is useful because it allows your monsters to avoid damage altogether, increasing their overall survivability, and can potentially turn the tide of a battle. Invasion might not be a top priority when it comes to the relics, however, having the invasion stat on your account will help you in all of the modes. On to one of the most important stats within the game, and that is crit rate. Crit rate relics will increase the chance that your monsters will land critical hits, which deals significantly more damage than regular hits. This is useful because it boosts your damage output, helping you take down enemies faster and more efficiently. Like I mentioned with Dragon Nest, Guild Dungeon Boss, those modes crit damage will reign true and help you deal a more significant amount of damage within those modes. But don't forget, crit rate will help you in every aspect of Summoners War Rush, so this is a top tier relic for sure. Now this is where most players will get confused with crush rate and crush damage. I'll do my best to discuss what these two are, as in the game there is no clear description of what these stats actually do. However, focusing on crush rate first, to my knowledge, crush rate is for any hit that isn't DOT or damage over time, there is a chance it will do bonus damage through the crush damage multiplier. But what does this mean? When one of these attacks lands and it doesn't crit, there is a chance it becomes a crushing hit, which to my knowledge will increase damage. So essentially, it's like a backup damage boost when a critical hit doesn't happen, but only on direct damage, not effects like damage over time. Crush rate is very essential if you want to do a lot of damage inside of the game, especially in modes that are critical like the Dragon Nest and Guild Dungeon Boss. You don't want to overlook this stat as it is essential. Pairing our knowledge with crush damage, it is a damage multiplier on hits that successfully rolled for crush. Yet again, this stat directly increases that crush damage, ultimately helping you deal more damage inside of the game. And what I've noticed is if you upgrade a lot of crush rate and crush damage, your overall power will also increase. Both of these stats are game changers. Finally, looking at the stage relic piece bonus, this relic will offer you more stage relic pieces when you're farming offline or online. So in my opinion, it is one of the most important relics in the game, especially if you want to upgrade a lot of relics like I have here. You need this relic piece to be high level, which brings me to discuss the best relics you want to go for in the relic section. In my opinion, I would start with crit rate to level 100. Then I would move down and go ahead and get the relic piece bonus to level 100. Moving up a little bit to both the crush rate and crush damage, I will get crush rate first to level 100. Same with crush damage. After that, I will definitely focus on attack to level 100. And then directly after that, I would go for accuracy, especially if you're struggling in tower defense. And me personally, I would actually go for HP next, along with evasion, finishing off with defense. Once you have all these relic pieces to level 100, I would go down and actually get the stage relic piece bonus to level 200, and then focus on my crit rate again, followed by both crush rate and crush damage. course you want to aim for attack to level 200 as well. And then the remaining stats, you can either level HP to 200, give HP, evasion, and defense. You don't really need them at level 200. They won't provide a significant increase in your total power, which brings me to the next topic, Ancient Relics. First, let's talk a little bit about Ancient Relics. I want to read a few of the bullet points right here. You can obtain Ancient Relic pieces and summon Ancient Relics after clearing the Relic Piece Dungeon 141. Now, once you complete floor 141, you will unlock the Ancient Relics. Up to 3 random relics will be summoned when you perform Ancient Relic Summon from those 3 options, which you can select one to obtain. It is important to note you can summon Ancient Relics again using crystals, and the amount of crystals required will increase with each summon attempt. I wanted to read that out to you guys. Like it mentioned with summoning Ancient Relics, you can actually reroll the 3 options they give you. So for example, if I got 3 stats that I didn't like for a melee troop, I would re-roll it again until I got a really good one for a ranged unit. However, I wouldn't re-roll it too much. Aim for a maximum 2 to 3 re-rolls with crystals. You might be wondering, what are the priorities within the Ancient Relics? What am I really looking for? Well, I'll go through the drop rate list from top to bottom and show you exactly what stats you want for each type of monster. Let's firstly talk about the tank unit. In my opinion, you want to focus on HP, defense, crush rate, and attack, along with double hit rate and triple hit rate. But as of right now, there is no tank in SummonersWar Rush that deals a significant amount of damage. So in my opinion, your top 3 most important ones for tanks are going to be your max HP, defense, and I would say crush rate. Now focusing more on the melee monsters, you want to get all of the melee Ancient Relics if possible. The reason being, units such as Artemel and Melissa deal a significant amount of damage on their own, so adding stats like attack, crush rate, double and triple hit rate will significantly boost their total amount of damage. If you want the most out of melee troops, you definitely want to pull every single Ancient Relic for melees. However, if I needed to break down the 3 top priorities within the Ancient Relics for melees, personally will definitely recommend you go for crush rate, attack, and either or of the double or triple hit rate. These are top priorities for a melee unit. Now on to the best class of monsters inside of SummonersWar Rush, and that is the ranged monsters. Like I mentioned with the melee type monsters, you want to go for every single Ancient Relic for the ranged monsters. You might be asking why, because this is the best type of monster inside of SummonersWar Rush, and it truly isn't close. There are so many ranged units like Sabrina and Lima who do a tremendous amount of damage in critical modes, for example the Guild Dungeon boss, so enhancing their total amount of damage and stats will help you progress in this game even faster and deal more damage in modes like the Dragon Nest or even the Guild Dungeon boss like we mentioned. The top 3 relics you want to aim for within the ranged monsters are definitely attack, crush rate, and yet again either or of the double or triple hit rates. Moving on to utility monsters. Utility monsters in my opinion are on the weaker side. However, units like Rena offer a tremendous amount of buffs, but the damage doesn't really reflect their total potential. However, don't count them out, you still want to pick up utility monster stats inside of the Ancient Relic section. However, I wouldn't prioritize anything in the utility monster section until you have all of the ranged and melee Ancient Relics unlocked. But once you have both of those fully unlocked, in my opinion, you want to go for attack for utility monsters. For sure, you want to go for crush rate. And the third one could honestly be max HP, just so they survive longer in the battle. You want to make sure units like Rena are staying alive, so they're offering their essential buffs to the team. So those would be my 3 priorities for utility monsters. Now onto single stat bonuses for Ancient Relics. Out of these 5 listed, will be attack being first, along with max HP in my opinion, followed by evasion and accuracy, finishing off with defense, but defense isn't really needed in my opinion. If you have nothing else to unlock, then of course go for defense. So you might be wondering, how do I level up Ancient Relics? Well, quickly going through here, you want to prioritize range monster attack stats. So I would get range monster attack to at least level 100, and then focus on doing the same with melee monster attack. These are the 2 strongest classes inside of SummonersWar Rush. After that, I would prioritize range monsters crush rates, along with other stats for range monsters. For example, double hit rate and triple hit rate, all to level 100. Once I upgrade those, I would focus more on melee monster crush rate, followed by other crucial melee stats like double hit rate and even melee monster triple hit rate. Once you get all of these to level 100, I would actually focus on the single specific stats. This being attack, which is a very critical stat within the game. So make sure you are investing within the right relic pieces inside both the normal relic and ancient relic areas, so you can get the most power out of your account and more damage in all of the game modes. I want to also cover a bonus tip about relics. As you can see here, there is a success rate for each individual relics, as you can see on the page here. The higher level relic you have, the lower chance it will actually be successful when using your resources. Keep that in mind. If you are failing at crit rate, for example, if none of your crit rates are being successfully hit when you press upgrade, make sure you go down to the next one and get them to the point where they require these scrolls. Another tip for the Ancient Relic, like I mentioned with the normal relic side, there is a success rate for every single relic inside of there. However, when you summon a relic inside the Ancient Relic area, there is a hidden 100% success rate for every single upgrade within here. All you need is the resources. If you are very frustrated in increasing a specific relic inside of here, make sure you're going inside of the Ancient Relic and upgrading some relics inside of here, as there is no drawback in upgrading any of these. But like I mentioned, make sure to upgrade the right ones. And that wraps up our guide on relics and Ancient Relics. Hopefully I've helped clear up any confusion and showed you the most efficient ways to use your resources. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.